Hello and welcome to Brand Your Passion, the show that helps you turn the thing you love the most into something that people know and love you for. I'm your host, Holly Arnett, the brand coach for creatives, and I'm on a mission to make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. If you're ready to get more eyes on your work, more dollars in your pocket, and more creativity in your life, you're in the right place. Welcome. Let's brand your passion. Hey everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of Brand Your Passion. I am super excited today to continue talking to you about some design stuff. The last month or so we've talked quite a bit about designing your brand, and I don't know about you, but I've been really enjoying it, so I hope that you have too. Today we are going to talk heaps about getting comfortable designing graphics for your own brand. As creatives, this is what happens a lot, is that we end up doing our own graphic design because we are just starting and are running things pretty lean. We don't have the capacity or the resources to be hiring another graphic designer, or we're kind of just in that like startup hustle mode where we want to do everything ourselves. So it can obviously end up being that we are doing our own design, and that's obviously super easy if you are a graphic designer or you have experience in design. But if you're not, it can be somewhat of a challenge, and I would hate this to stop you from like putting your work out into the world, or to stop you from sharing on Instagram or on social media in any way. I just want to see you always get your work out to as many people as possible in the best and easiest way. I just want to see you always get your work out to as many people as possible in the best and easiest way as possible. Whether you have some experience in design, you feel confident in design, or you don't and you're a little bit nervous or a little bit unsure about designing, today I'm going to give you some tips for getting comfortable designing your own graphics for your own brand. So let's dive in. Firstly, obviously, when we are talking about design, you want to make sure that you're choosing a software that's going to work for you. For people who are getting started or don't really have experience in graphic design, then your best bet is probably going to be Canva. And you've probably heard Canva talked about before, but it's a really great design software for people without design experience because it's really easy to use. There's a free plan, so you don't have to pay if you're not ready to, and they have like so many templates and guides and so much helpful stuff in there that will get you started. So if you're stuck, then I would just recommend getting started with Canva because it's really easy to use, really easy to pick up, and will lower that barrier to entry for you to get started working on your own design stuff. Then there is obviously the Adobe suite. So there's Adobe Creative Cloud. In there are a lot of different design software options, but for creating like general graphics for your brand, you're probably just going to want to use Illustrator. There's like InDesign for print material, PDFs or things like that, and then there is Photoshop for photos and imagery, but Illustrator is going to be your best bet for designing graphics for your brand. This is a paid software, so that's something to take into consideration, and it is also like quite complicated to get your head around. There's a lot of functionality in there, so it can take some time to get used to, but there are a bunch of like Skillshare courses or other resources online if you do want to get started using Adobe Illustrator, because it is really powerful and gives you a lot of options and a lot of flexibility when it comes to designing. There's also Affinity Designer, which is another similar product to Adobe Illustrator, but it's cheaper, I think, and there are bunch of other differences. That's another option if you're looking for kind of a more in-depth design software. And then the software that I use is Figma. Figma was originally designed for like people who design apps and websites, but it's really great for graphic design if you are just doing like graphics for social media or really whatever it is that you want to be designing. And I use it because it's collaborative and I work with another designer to help me, and we can work on the same file at the same time. I can comment things, she can comment things. It's really good and really easy to use. It's also free and you can use it in your browser or in a desktop app. That is another really great option that I always recommend. So those are kind of the four main ones. Have a look at all four weigh them up, decide if you want to pay any money or not, and just get started with whichever one comes easiest to you. Then last month we were talking quite a lot about how to design your brand's design elements and designing your logo and all of that great stuff. So when you have done that stuff, it's really helpful to create a set of brand guidelines, even if it's just like one page or a folder on your computer or a Trello board or something that's going to help you keep everything together and give you some guidelines around what to use. If you have some guidelines around what colors, what color combinations, what fonts, what font combinations to use, what patterns you are going to be using, what suite of icons you have available, all of these things are going to make it really, really easy for you to make decisions when you are designing for yourself. So it kind of reduces the decision overwhelm that you have to make. So instead of kind of starting from scratch every time and figuring out what the heck you're able to use or not use, if you have some brand guidelines, that will help you to know, okay, well, I can choose from these 4 colors and I've got like 8 color combinations to choose from. I've got 2 fonts and I've got 3 pattern backgrounds that I can choose from. So having those guidelines makes it easier for you to start designing rather than having an infinite number of options around colors or an infinite number of fonts or patterns or whatever it is that you're using. So having brand guidelines is really, really helpful. Similarly, you can use templates to help make graphics easier to make and faster and more efficient. So you can either make these yourself, so you can kind of set up a template for Instagram posts or for Instagram stories or Twitter posts or whatever it is that you're making, or you can use in Canva. They have loads and loads of templates for you to choose from that you can grab and customize yourself. And this just means that every time you go to create a graphic that's like the same thing every time, you don't have to be making it from scratch each time. So like with my podcast episode graphics, I'm not going to make that from scratch every time. I just have a template that I can swap out the type, I can put in the new photo, and it just makes it really easy and efficient for me to be making those graphics. And it makes it really fun, right? Because I can have fun within that template. I don't have to be stressed about actually making the template. I can just have fun using it. So I highly, highly recommend creating or grabbing and downloading and using templates to make designing your graphics a whole lot easier. Now, when you are designing graphics for yourself, it's important to kind of understand the basic design principles. You don't have to, obviously, like I went to design school for 4 years to learn these things, but you don't have to do that. It's just good to understand what they are and learn a little bit about them. So the 4 main basic design principles are alignment. So that's like how things are aligned with each other. Are they aligned on the left? Are they lined up in the middle? How do they line up together? Hierarchy. So that's like, what's the thing on the page that you look at first? Then what do you look at second? Etc. Contrast is really important in design. That's the 3rd one. So that's having like 2 different fonts should be quite contrasting with each other, so it's easier to read both of them and differentiate both of them. Repetition is next. So that's a really important design principle. So the more you repeat something, the more people are aware of it. It creates a pattern, it creates rhythm. So repetition can be really, really fun. Proximity is the next design principle. So that's how close things are to one another, and that will help people to see what things are related to each other. So the closer things are to each other, the more related they probably are, and the further apart they are, then the less related they probably are. Balance is another design principle. So something can be symmetrical or asymmetrical, can be balanced in terms of color, can be balanced in terms of lots of different things, but by intentionally balancing something or making something unbalanced can create different feelings. Color is a massive design principle, so it creates a lot of different feelings, emotions, and meanings. Color is really, really important. And then space is the last one and is really my key principle that I use all the time, because space is a really important element of design. You don't have to fill the page with lots of things. Having empty white space really helps to draw attention to the things that are on the page. Make sure that you're leaving white space or empty space or using space to highlight what is on the page. Those are the basic design design principles. Obviously, you can learn a lot more about them and go more in depth, but hopefully just being aware of those things and knowing what they are will help you to kind of be more conscious as you are designing. And then you want to know the basic design elements that you do have to use while you are designing, right? So you have your logos, you have color to use, you have typography, patterns, icons, and then any imagery. So these are kind of the main design elements that you have to play with. So have fun with those, play with color, include some patterns, try some illustrations. All of these things will make your graphics really, really fun. So that is kind of a quick fire guide to designing your own graphics for your brand. If you have any more questions about this topic, please feel free to tag me on Twitter or on Instagram. I would love to obviously chat to you. I'd love to make more podcast episodes about this stuff. So just let me know. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for listening to this episode of Brand Your Passion and choosing to spend some time with me learning about branding, business, and all things creativity. You can find more episodes just like this one at blackandwhitestudios.nz/brandyourpassion. If you liked this one, you can tap that subscribe button so that you're notified about every new episode. And if you've got a spare second, I would love it if you could leave a review on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. I would love to hear from you and hear about how you're enjoying the podcast. If there were some helpful goodies in this episode for you, it would mean the world to me if you could screenshot your podcast player on your phone right now, hop over to Instagram or Twitter and tag me at Black and White Studios. That's at BLCKWHT Studios. By subscribing and reviewing and sharing, you're helping me to reach more creators just like you so that together we can make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. I really can't achieve this mission without you, so your support means the world. I'll talk to you in the next episode, but until then, keep creating.